Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We will continue with the same question we did in the previous session, which was talking about employees and salaries. So we did the program, the Java program, to read the number of employees, to read their salaries, and then we did the output of the average, salaries below average, and number of employees below and above the average. And we did the program, and we had this coding of declaring and doing the input and output. We will use the same program, but we will do tracing. So we will go step by step, statement by statement. We will just assume that we have the number of employees, and we will keep doing the reading and writing. And the main aim of this is to know that how to do the computation of the arrays, and we need to make sure that we know how to do all of the statements properly. So we will start from the beginning, scanner input new scanner system.n, and we had this statement because we need to do reading. Integer n, and we said this will represent how many employees. So our first step was we need to create a variable n, and this will represent how many employees. So we are done with the first two steps. The third step, it says output enter number of employees. So as a message, we will have the first output, it says enter number of employees. And then we will say n equal input.next integer. So the main aim of this is to read how many employees we have in our company. So let's assume the user did the input as a 3, and it means this 3 will be taken and it will be saved in n. So the value of n will be 3. Now the second step we have to do is that we have to create an array, and this array should be of size n. And the name of the array is employee salary, and it should be of type double. So we have to have the array. So let's draw the array. The name of the array is employee salary, and we have the size as 3 elements because n is 3. So it means the index will go 0, 1, and 2. And as we mentioned, always the array starts with index 0 and the last index is 2. And we will continue with the statement. So we are done with the creation of the array. Now, system.out.println enter salaries. So we will have a message here for the user saying enter salaries. And we need to go with the salaries according to how many employees. So if we have n as a 3, it means we will read 3 values. If n is 8, we will read 8 values. That's why here in the loop we have I less than n, because this will go up to the number of values we have. But always we need to do the average, and that's why beforehand we have a variable called sum. So we created another variable called sum, and initially it is 0, because once we finish the reading of all of the elements, I need to calculate and display the average. And to be able to do the calculation of the average, that's why I need sum. So we will do the starting of the sum, we will do the calculation, and then we will move with the others. Now, because I have to go element by element till the end, and I have to do the reading, that's why I need a for loop. And always the for loop will start I0, I less than n, or we can say I less than employee salary dot length, and then I plus plus. Which means the first time I will have the value of I as 0. So this is I at location 0, which means I now at this location. Inside the loop, I have opening a bracket and closing a bracket, and I have 2 statements that I have to do, which is the first statement, employee salary location I equal input.next double. So I have a statement like this. I have employee salary at location I. Currently, the value of I is 0, so I'm saying 0 equal. Go to the keyboard and get me the value. So if the user mentioned that the first input is 10, so I have to take this 10 and I have to save it in location 0. So 10 will be saved in location 0. Also, what I have to do, I have to say sum plus equal employee salary of I. So we will say sum plus equal, go to the array employee salary at location I, and currently I as 0. So go to the salary, employee salary location 0, which we have just saved as 10. Take this 10 and add it to the summation. So the summation value will be updated and the new value we will have as 10. So we can see that the main aim of this for loop is to read a value, save it in the array, and then take this value and add it to the sum. And we will continue with the other elements. So now I will have to go and I will have to do the same thing, but instead of I equals 0, we will increment I, because we will have to go to the beginning of the loop and we have to increment I. So the value of I will be 1, which means now I is moving and I is pointing to location 1. So when we say go and read the value and save it in location I, it means go and read the value and save it in location 1. So let's assume the input is a 20. So this 20 should be saved in salary of location 1. So it means I should have the value as there. Similarly, I will say update the sum by taking the value of location 1 and add it to the sum, which is 20 plus 10, so it should be as 30. So here the value we should have as 30. Again, we will continue with the same thing, and I will increment I, so the value of I this time will be as 2, which means I will be moving to the last location. And if the user says the value is 30, it means this 30 should be saved in this location, and this value will be added to the sum. So here 30 plus 30, we should have it as 60. So by this, it means we are done with the reading of the values, and each time we read a value and we save it in the location. Once we are done, also the summation is updated, because the summation will hold the summation of all of the elements in our array. So this is done with the for loop reading and updating the sum. Always remember the common mistake as not to do a statement like this. Do not say I equal input dot next double. And the reason is because we are not reading the value of I, we are reading the value inside I. That's why I have to say the name of the array, employee salary bracket I. The second common mistake is, remember, do not say only the name of the array, because if you say only employee salary equal input.next double, this will give you a compiling error, because always you need the location, in which bracket and which location. And that's why we need here to say bracket and I. This is common mistake. The other common mistake that when you do the update, also remember you need the salary at location I. So this is statement. If you just write it as sum plus equal I, not employee salary I, it means I will have the values 0, 1, and 2. So at the end, you will have the summation of this number, which is a 3. But we don't need the summation of the locations. We need the summation of the value inside the location. And that's why, again, remember I should be between brackets, and you have to mention the array name. So employee salary at location I. This could be happening easily when we type our program just by mistake. So just be careful with these small statements. Now we have to calculate the average. Average equals sum over n. So we will declare a variable. We will call it average. And this average will be sum over n. So sum is 60 over n, which is 3. 60 over 3, it will give us the value as 20. And it's type double. And again, we create average and sum of type double, and the array is also of type double. So we are done with the reading. We need only to display the average. So I will say average equal what is the value. So we will have a small message here saying average equal, and we will display the value of the average. Now, according to the question, they were asking that you have to display salaries below average. If I have all of my salaries saved in the array and I have the average, so how can I find which salary is below the average? It means I have to go one by one. So I have to go to the first number, 10. Is it below 20? And then 20, is it below? And then 30, is it below? Because I have to go one by one, it means again I should need a for loop. And that's why here we will just output a message first, salaries below average. And then we need a for loop. And the loop, just like as usual, I will start from the beginning, from location 0, then location 1, and then location 2. So when we start with the value of I equals 0, we will have this message which says employee salary at location I, is it below the average? So if we just write it here, I'm saying go to the array employee salary at location I currently is 0. Is it below the average you have? If this is the case, you have to say system.out.println the same value, which is employee salary at location I, which is location 0. So let's try to find if this is correct or not. So because I0, I'm saying go to location 0 and get me the salary. So this is location 0 and the salary is 10. So I will have here 10. Is it below the average? The average currently is 20. So I'm saying 10, is it less than 20? True. Then I'll have to do system.out, the name of the array at location 0. So go to the array, what is inside location 0, then you have to do the output, and you will have the output here as 10. You will continue with the loop, you will increment I. So the value of I will be incremented, which is location 1. So it means you are moving to the second index. Because you are moving to the second index, then it means here you are saying go to location 1. Is it below the average? The value inside 1 now is 20. 20, is it less than 20? False. So I will not do the output. I will continue with the loop. I will increment I will be 2. Go to the array at location 2, which is 30. 30, is it below 20? Again, it's not. So I will not do the output again. When we increment I for the last time, I will be 3, and it means we finish all the elements. So what we did, we just started from the beginning till the end of the array, and each time we compare the element with the average. If it is below, we do the output. And because we have only one number below, that's why we have the output as 10. Now we are done with this block of the for loop. The remaining of a program was asking find number of employees below and above salary. So what they need actually counter how many of them below and how many of them are above. They don't need the number inside the array. they need the counter. And that's why we have created two counters, below and above. So I have here above 0, and we have below 0 as well. And then we have a for loop again, and we will start from the beginning till the end. So let's just put this array. Let's draw it again. And just like what we did in the previous one, we say employee salary I, is it less than the average? Do the output. Here we will say employee salary, is it less than the average? If it is, we will increment the counter. We will not do any output. So what I will do, I will start from the beginning, 10. Is it below the average? Yes. So which counter I have to increment? I have to increment below. So we will increment below, and it will be 1. We will go to the second number, 20. Is it below the average? 20. It's not. Is it above 20? It's not. So I will not do anything. I will go to the last number, 30. 30, is it below 20? It's not. So I will go to the else. Is it above 20? Is it above the average? Yes. So I will increment above, and it should be as 1. And we finish all the elements in our array. Once I finish, I'll just have to have 2 messages to output the counters. So I will have to say number of employees with salary below the average, number of employees with above. So below will output 1 and above will output 1 as well, because the case we have is I have only one number below and one number which is above. So this is how we created the array, how we calculated the summation average, and then also we had a search from the beginning till the end, and we output the numbers salaries below average, and then we have 2 counters, one to count how many salaries we have below average and salaries above average. So maybe as an exercise, we can also have the following. We can have a counter that says equal. So I need to output at the end, I need how many salaries above, how many salaries below, and how many salaries they are equal. So I will do 2 steps only. I will have to create another variable here. I will say integer equal 0. So this is the new counter we have. And we have f, else f, and we have the last else, which says if it is not above, if it is not below, it means equal. So here all what I'll have to do is I have to say equal plus plus. And of course, at the end, once we finish, we have the system. We have to add one more statement. System.out.println number of employees with equal salary of average, and we will just display the counter over there. So the same program can be modified in a couple of many ways, and it will achieve different aims. But the aim idea is you have to know how to declare your array, how to have your for loop to move from the beginning till the end. If you need counter, what do you have to do? If you have to do a search, then what do you have to do as well? Just remember the common thing, always when we refer to the array, we need the name of the array, bracket I, just like we have when we do the summation, when we have it with the if condition, and so on.